Okay. And when the power of sight is not revealed, lirais, to see, eina inyan shenistale koyach hariyah me'ayin, it doesn't mean that you became blind, that your power of sight is gone from your eyes. Ki be'emes yeshnoi nimtza ba'ayin. You're a fully sighted person. Rak she'ein misgale koyach. It's just that your power of sight is not actively, it's not, that this power is not in a state of revelation.
It's not actively being used. It's
yes.
potential.
In the same way is this concept of concealment and revelation, that either the light is being revealed within the vessels and within the worlds, or it's not being revealed. And all this concealment applies only to vessels and worlds. It does not apply to the light. There is no change in the light. And how much the more so is that true about God's being in essence, which is way, way beyond, above the light and its revelation. The ayin mashikosuv b'dibra maschil shechoira ani v'navo be'inyan yoshes choshech sisrei. Okay, this is go look somewhere else in a different mimer, and we can stop here. Basically, the rest of this is just different sources that discuss this further. So, just to back up a second to where we were learning in the Rebbe's mimer, and we'll go over that last piece again quickly, just as now that we've done it inside in the Alter Rebbe, so we'll see what is it that the Rebbe took from this. So back to where we were in the Rebbe's mimer, Va'al Yedei Zed, you see the place, Eliezer, where we started? We're going to go through those lines over again quickly.
Where is this?
The line starting Ubezeh Hoya Tzimtzum.
Yeah.
Okay. Through this, we come to another idea. That this concept of that the light of the infinite one extends up without limit and down without limit, is present the way it is in its root in God's essence. Shesham, that there, hu inyan yecholis. There we can't even talk about light. It's not even a light, it's only a capability. But at that level, you can't even say what the Arizal is talking about in Eitz Chaim, about this Tzimtzum. That it filled the whole because and then there was this contraction, because you can't say that about the source, you can only say it about the light. As the Alter Rebbe explains at length in Torah Oyer, which we just did, and also in Likutei Torah, that you cannot say tzimtzum about the source. You can only talk about the light being contracted. The kivon sheba oyer shayich loymar ispashta, since you can talk about light expanding and spreading out, shayich loymar boygam kein tzimtzum. So there you can talk about it being contracted and diminished. V'lachin inyan zek it seems same oyer nishar mokum cholol v'rekam upanui. Therefore, this idea that when he contracted his light, there remained, so that all that remained was an empty void place. This is only regarding removal of light. Sheba'ir zeh shemikoidem haya begilui, that this light that previously was in the state of revelation and filled the place of the void, in such a way that there was no room for the existence of worlds, mitzad reva behiris koloshim Maimon, as we learned from what earlier in what the Maggid said, because of the intensity and of the radiance that was there, no world could exist. So after the Tzimtzum, it now was in this light was in a state of concealment. But the source is revealed in a state of revelation, even after the Tzimtzum and in all places. As explained in Torah Oir, Shezeu mashe shem shemaim shagur bepi kol, afilu bepi nashim uvetinoikos. Now, this is the idea that people talk about God. Thank God. Everything's good. We hear that even in the mouths of women and children. The kavanasam ba'oimram shem shemayim hareheim la'atzmus ha'ma'ir. Who are they? What are they talking about? Are they talking about wisdom or kindness? Or no? They're talking about God Himself, His essence. Shezehu masha amoir nimtza b'kol mokem. This is the idea that the luminary, meaning the source, is present everywhere. V'inyan hatzimtzum rak ba'ir, and the contraction applied only in the light, and not in that the light was removed, but rather that shetmura zeh shahoya begilui, that instead of it being in a state of revelation, after the Tzimtzum, it was now in a state of concealment. Okay, so I think we will stop here, and next time we'll pick it up from something from the Mittler Rebbe. Yeah, I'm sorry. What, Eliezer?
What's this page?
That page is the section in the. Oh, Usher, good to see you. Is the section in the Frierdiker Rebbe's Maamar that the Rebbe's Maamar is about, the Rebbe's Maamar for this year.
Okay, thank you.
Would it be idolatry for someone to I don't know, thank an attribute of Hashem rather than Hashem himself?
That is a very good, deep question. And so, for example, we have different names for God. So example would be the name Kel, which is God as he expresses himself in kindness through the sphere of kindness. When you say the name Kel, you are not, when you pray to Hashem as Kel, you are not praying to kindness. Mm-hmm. You're praying to God and evoking his attribute of kindness, but you're not praying to the spheres.
Sure.
That's we should always be praying only to God Himself.
Right.
Now, would it be it's almost like, how is what you're suggesting different than praying to the sun?
I guess the only difference would be that, like, an attribute of Hashem is something that Hashem manifests, as opposed to like something that Hashem has created. Like you're not worshiping a creation.
I'm just kicking this out because I'm not sure exactly how it applies, but it's in the sitter, in the grace after meals.
Yeah.
Got on his own. It ends with harakamad,
Yeah.
harakamad,
The merciful
which
one.
means compassionate, merciful one.
Yes.
Right.
Again,
But
when you
that's
say
only
Rachman, who are you talking to?
yeah, you're talking to Kel,
You're talking to God.
God. Yeah,
God himself.
but you're focusing
you-
on one attribute.
You're
Using
not
that
you're
name.
not saying Rachamim,
No, you're saying Rachman, the one.
the
who
one
is.
who has Rachamim, the one who, right? You're not referring. You're not praying to the spheres.
Right. Correct.
The spheres themselves is just what are they? In a way, they are like an axe in the hand of a wood chopper,
Mm-hmm.
just like the sun. That we get tremendous vitality in this world. That you know, thanks to what the sun is doing. But does the sun have free choice in what it's doing? No. Does the attribute of kindness have free choice in what it's doing?
No.
No. Or mercy or any of the other attributes. It is a manifestation of God. So we're not praying to manifestations, whether they're spiritual or physical or anything like. We're praying to God himself.
I had one other question,
Yeah.
which was when you're talking about the concealment of Hashem's light, is this kind of is that same idea applied when Hashem says that I create light and I create darkness from all these things come from me? That darkness is a concealment of Hashem's light, or is that something different?
So on a very low level, there is this concept of we have daytime and nighttime, and that's what we think of when we think of light and dark. But the light that we're talking about here as being contracted, that its revelation is not present, light is only an analogy for what we're discussing.
Mm-hmm.
Light is what, in this sense, it's just the energy that, and I don't know if I can use any word properly here, but just the energy with which God is making things happen.
Okay.
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 So
this is electrons, so to speak.
Huh?
This is electrons.
It's beyond that. Even electrons are a created material thing.
Right.
It would be
Photons. You want to say photons?
Yeah, right.
Same thing. It's just still. That's not what. In other words, light is that all of that is just an analogy. This is how do we think of what it is that God is doing when God provides something. We could use different analogies. We could use like he's pouring water for us. Or he's shining light to us. We tend to want to use the light analogy more than the water analogy because the problem with the water analogy is when you pour from the pitcher, it's no longer in the pitcher. Whereas when the light shines from the sun, it doesn't take away from the sun. Okay.
Well, the Torah is described as
trying
water.
to bring out the idea of I, God, have not changed. That, in other words, that I don't lose from whatever I do.
By giving.
Right.
Or creating.
So in that way, light becomes a better analogy. But it's only an analogy. It's not. It's not more than that. And whatever it is we get from God is beyond all that. Okay, so I'm gonna have to get ready for my other shir that I'm a student in, and so
Thank you.
we'll stop the
Shavua Tov.
recording. You two have